Welcome to today's lecture on Android development. By the end of this session, you will understand what Android is, its importance in the world of technology, and how to get started with Android development. Introduction to Android. What is Android? Android is an open source operating system primarily designed for touchscreen mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets. It was initially developed by Android Inc., which was later acquired by Google in 2005. Android is based on the Linux kernel and is one of the most widely used of mobile operating systems globally. Key features of Android. Open source. Its source code is freely available to developers and can be modified and distributed under open licenses. Multitasking. It allows users to run multiple applications simultaneously. Secure. This includes built-in malware detection, sandboxing of applications, and regular security updates from Google. Customizable. Users can personalize their devices with custom launchers, widgets, and themes, while developers can modify the Android source code. Device compatibility. Android is designed to run on a variety of devices, including smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, smart TVs, etc. Prerequisites of Android development: Java or Kotlin programming language. Android apps are primarily developed using Java or Kotlin programming language. You should have a good grasp of object-oriented programming concepts, data types, control flow, loops, functions, and classes. While Kotlin is the recommended language for Android. XML, Extensible Markup Language. It is used for designing the layout of an Android user interfaces. You should be familiar with XML syntax, elements, attributes, and nesting to create visually appealing and responsive user interfaces for your Android apps. Dalvik Virtual Machine. Debian was the original virtual machine used by the Android operating system to execute applications written in the Java programming language. It used techniques like just-in-time compilation and optimized bytecode execution to improve performance and reduce resource usage. The Debian executed applications in a special format called Dalvik Executable DAX, which is optimized for mobile devices. Later, it was replaced by ART in Android 5.0 and later versions. The Dalvik virtual machine was replaced by Android Runtime as the default runtime environment. The .apk file extension. APK stands for Android Package Kit. It is the file format used to distribute and install applications on Android devices. An APK file contains all the necessary components of an Android application, including the compiled bytecode, that is, text files, resources such as images, XML layouts, assets, and manifest files. Basic building blocks of Android applications. Activities. Activities represent individual screens with a user interface that users can interact with. They serve as the entry point for users to interact with your app. Each activity typically corresponds to a single screen or a portion of the user interface. Activities are managed by the Android system and can be started, paused, resumed, and stopped according to the user's interaction and the app's lifecycle. They are implemented as subclass of the activity class and defined in the app's manifest file. Services. Services are components that run in the background, perform long-running operations, or handle tasks without requiring a user interface. They are typically used for tasks such as playing music, downloading files, performing background computations, or handling network requests. services can run indefinitely even if the app's activities are no longer visible. They are implemented as subclass of the service class. Services can run in two modes, foreground and background. Broadcast receivers. Broadcast receivers are components that respond to system-wide broadcast messages or intents. They allow your app to receive and react to events or messages broadcasted by the system or other apps. Common examples include receiving notifications, battery level changes, network connectivity changes, and system broadcasts. Broadcast receivers are implemented as subclass of the broadcast receiver class and registered in the app's manifest file or dynamically at runtime. Content providers. Content providers manage access to a structured set of data stored by the app, which may be private to the app or shared with other apps. They encapsulate data and provide mechanisms for data storage, retrieval, and sharing between different apps. Content providers facilitate secure access to data by enforcing permissions and providing a standard interface for querying and modifying data. Common examples of data managed by content providers include contacts, calendar events, media files, and app-specific data. UI components, views, and notifications. Views are the basic building blocks of the Android user interface. They represent interactive elements that users can see and interact with on the screen. Examples of views include text view for displaying text, edit text for user input, button for triggering actions, image view for displaying images, and many more. Views are organized and arranged within layouts such as linear layout, relative layout, constraint layout, etc. Notifications. Notifications provide a way to alert users about important events or updates even when they are not actively using the app. They appear as small pop-up messages or icons in the device notification tray. Notifications can include text, icons, images, and action buttons, allowing users to interact with them directly. Notifications can be triggered by various events such as incoming messages, alarms, reminders, updates from apps, etc. Components for communication, intents, and intent filters. Intents are messaging objects used to request actions from other app components or to communicate between different applications. They serve as a bridge between components like activities, services, and broadcast receivers, enabling them to send and receive messages asynchronously. Common use cases for intents include starting activities, starting services, broadcasting messages, and launching external activities or services from other apps. Intent filters. Intent filters are declarations in an app's manifest file that specify the types of intents that a component can handle. They define the capabilities of a component and allow it to receive and respond to a specific types of intents from other components or external applications. Intent filters enable components to be dynamically discovered and invoked by the Android system or other applications, promoting reusability and modularity. Android API levels, versions, and versions names. Android API levels, also known as Android versions, are numerical identifiers assigned to different releases of the Android operating system. Each API level corresponds to a specific set of features, capabilities, and improvements introduced in that version. Along with API levels, Android versions are also commonly referred to by their name, which are typically named after deserts or suites in alphabetical order. Here is the list of Android versions and API levels from Android 1 to Android 12. Thank you.